when you level up your environment in this direction, you also start accepting yourself more and more, because they will mirror this crystal clear to you. But also in the same time, those kind of people will be able to hold the space for you to... Welcome to the I'm Possible podcast episode 23 with me, Anna Essen. In today's episode, my dear loved one, I want to talk with you about the importance of the environment again, but this time even on a deeper level. And that is how your environment is a key component for three very important parts for your life. The one is to get to know yourself better. The second one is to learn to choose more of yourself to be expressed in all the areas of your life: business, health, relationship, parenting, lifestyle, everything that you think about, right? And the third area is that the level of the people in your environment determine the level of the network they have around themselves and the network that they can open for you. We're going to go through the three areas, and you will love to stay till the end, especially if you really, really are committed to experience more of your true, authentic, loving nature, and to allow yourself to shed everything that you have picked up in your life from others, and you don't even know that you have picked up stuff in some areas yet, because this episode will show you how you can really, by acknowledging the importance of your environment, and you really have a blueprint to, on the one side, be able to heal your inner relationship to past relationships, especially the ones that hurt you most, but also will give you a completely different way how you see every interaction, every relationship that you're going to build from now on. Even the one happening currently in this moment between you and me, through the power of this podcast. So I'm going to start with the first point. And the first point is how your environment, it's extremely important that you can get to know yourself better. And I'll start with a small story. So before I started my first business, I was working for 12 years in corporate. And the environment of especially friends that I had around me were people that was very strong anchored into the employment kind of life living, anchored into the 9 to 5. And there is no judgmental, it's just how it was, right? And that is also where I came from. So I grew up from a family that my mom and my dad, they were both like working. My dad used to be a policeman. My mom is a doctor. So that is, what I learned. I didn't have any entrepreneur in my family, not that I know, at least. So that was my reality. But even in this reality, the friends and the relationship that I attracted, the people that I had in my environment, they were all kind of having less kind of bigger goals for their life. I always wanted to achieve more. I always wanted to create more impact. I always wanted to shift different companies, different roles, so I can constantly develop and grow and learn something new. So I always was a person that was willing to take on a new endeavor, on a new challenge. But the people in my environment, there wasn't this kind of people, right? So that means that my environment wasn't able to challenge me in these beliefs that I had within myself that I needed to see so I can grow even further or faster, right? But what the environment shows me is literally this realization that I just shared with you, that I just felt that I cannot grow anymore. So I was constantly providing support and helping my environment, but there was nobody that I could literally look towards and I can see as an example for growth. And that's something that I created for myself, right? So when I get aware about that, I kind of entered the social media space, kind of had look for people a little from outside to show me something different. And that is also how I started my first business. So when I started my first business, the challenge in this environment was that it was a very young team that I was working with, and I had way more years of experience and expertise, as till then I was working with enterprise clients, and I knew how to have this communication, how to negotiate. So what happened is, of course, at very fast, I was able to be the one to provide the trainings for the team, to create different programs for personal development, for marketing, sales, communication, promotion, whatsoever, right? But very fast, I kind of felt that this environment hasn't challenging me so much as I needed. And I started in parallel going to personal development events. And that is where I started connecting with different people that had different level of self-realization, of self-awareness, of growth, different level of expertise, whether it's interpersonal skills, whether it was business skills. And that is where the whole triggers started happening. What do I mean by this? The moment you enter in an environment where people have quote unquote better skills in area where you want to grow, if you have a subconscious beliefs that are making you question yourself or kind of seeing this as doubting yourself instead of potentiality to growth, all these beliefs, they're going to be triggered and they're going to come on the surface. What is amazing, that is exactly what we want to do, but it's not a process that is pleasant, right? Because I used to have these beliefs that wasn't even mine. I took them from my family when I grew up, from my environment, from the nation, right? There is also kind of this culture where you come from, where you grow up, right? And all those were operating on the unconscious level, not even on the subconscious level, but on an unconscious level. So I wasn't aware of them. But the more I get confronted with those triggers, the more I needed to see how I can regulate these emotions. And back there, I wasn't so aware that what is happening is actually serving me, is actually an amazing opportunity and a blessing to grow, right? Because everything that you don't see, that is in your unconscious mind, you cannot make a conscious decision to change it. It's like when you're not aware what kind of program is running on your hardware, on your computer, but it's causing, for example, your computer to shut down in certain moments, till you find the program that is causing your computer to shut down, You cannot fix it, right? But the moment you find the code that is causing this problem, in this case, the moment you find the belief or the trigger that is causing this, and you bring it on the surface, so we make it aware, that is the moment, not when the work starts. It's actually the moment when the work ends. And that was also something that I wasn't aware, because the moment you see that you have a limiting beliefs towards something, or something is triggering you, from now on you cannot unsee it anymore. It doesn't mean that you won't act or you won't get triggered in the same direction. But now, because you are aware, you have the conscious choice. So you can choose whether to act based on the old limiting beliefs, or you choose to act differently. And the more you choose acting differently, that is the same way as on a computer, it's the way how you go and you reprogram this code, this part of the code. So now you can see that by me putting myself in ever-growing environment, right, and that didn't stop there, right, when I went into the personal development, in some moment I changed also the business that I was doing, and also the level of the people that I was doing the business with. They were more mature, more professional, coming from a completely different place. They were also older, not so young. And it doesn't mean that young means they have less experience, but in this case, in my case, was the case definitely. Then I was able to grow even bigger. I was able to uncover even more of these beliefs, but also to make conscious decisions how I want to be. So I get to know myself better and to see, okay, is this my belief system? Is it something that helps me and support me to express myself more authentically? Or is this something that kind of like dim my light, kind of like make me not feel so good about myself? And is this belief, does it belongs to me, or did I pick it from my mom? Did I pick it from my dad? Did I pick it from my environment? Right? So now you can understand that when you allow yourself to level up your environment, then you can get to know yourself better. And sometimes it will feel like the same topic will be triggered. Let me say the topic of comparisons. Okay, so that means in one moment you can say, oh, I don't compare myself anymore, right? But maybe you are able to regulate that because you learn the skills and tools, so you kind of like level up yourself in this area to the level of your current surrounding environment. Especially, there is a saying, you become the average of the 5 people you are surrounded most of the time. So now you kind of like balance and you come on this level. So there is nothing too much to trigger you. But when I suddenly put you up in an environment where, let me say, you take it in a business perspective, but you can take it also in a relationship. So let me say that you are making a 7-figure, and now I put you in an environment where we have like 9-figure to 10 figures. So that means above 100 million to billion and so on. So those people most probably have a different conversation than the people with 6-figure, 7-figure. They have a different challenges on this level. They have a different decision to make. So suddenly your comparisons topic can pop up again, right? It doesn't mean that you didn't grow up. It doesn't mean that you didn't transmute, but it means that you transmute to a certain level. But now it shows you that what triggers these comparisons is, for example, the money, the amount of money. So now you can get aware, oh, okay, so I stopped comparing with my environment because we kind of like was on the same level of income creating. And now when I'm in an environment where the people are having way higher income than I'm having, that is what is triggering me. Or it could be that the way of their lifestyle is, because maybe your lifestyle is that you work, I don't know, 70 to 80 hours a week, right? And suddenly you meet someone that works 10 hours a week, but they create like the same amount of income. So now you don't get triggered on the amount of the income because you're on the same amount, but you put like 7 to 8 times more work into creating this income than the other person. So then that means the lifestyle can be triggering you in the comparisons, into this judging mentality, right? So that means in more higher or aware environment you put yourself, and this can be the same if you are like, going into spirituality, and then you have a certain circle of you to a certain level of awareness, and suddenly you go in a different circle where the people are channeling entities, where they are talking light language, where they are getting completely different how to say, awarenesses of secret geometry, of ley lines, and whatever, maybe a sphere that you never had any experience with, and suddenly you have the feeling like, oh, shit, I have no idea about that, and this triggers you because you believe that you became very aware, very awakened, and suddenly you have the feeling that you have no idea of anything, right? So this could be, so that means this environment now gives you another opportunity to see where you still, have things that triggers you, right? So that's the first point. The second point is that your environment, as I explained in the first one, I didn't use the term for this. It's like your environment is your mirror. And let me be honest, how often when you when you see yourself in the mirror, you can say for 100% that you fully accept and love every part of yourself. And you're fully, like literally embodying it. And with this, you're really choosing all of you to get expressed. There are not a lot of people that can say this with 100% certainty, right? And it's not your fault. Okay, let me say this from the beginning. It's not your fault, because the way how we were raised, we were taught from small on kindergarten and school to look always where is the failure, where is something off, and to point at it, right? In school, your teacher, shows you where's your mistake on the test. It doesn't show you what you did good, and shows you to focus on this, and then maybe there is a area of improvement, and then to say, hey, this is an area of improvement, this is how you can improve it, right? But instead, it's literally just showing you what is the mistake. So that means we have been trained, most probably consciously, to really focus on the problems. So that means when you stay in front of mirror, very naturally you will see the mistakes, something that you don't like, you don't accept, and you try to hide it, right? So now when you understand that your environment that you surround yourself with are the mirrors, and the higher the awareness of the people in your environment is, the more precise and more crystal clear this mirror also become, from kind of blurry mirror to more, crystal clear to sharp, where you can see like even the smallest dot on your face kind of zoom in, right? So this is how, when you level up your environment, is also the clarity of the mirror becomes higher. But let me tell you something. Why this is so amazing? Because when you learn to fully accept yourself with all your flaws, with all the imperfection, with the beautiful parts and the parts that you don't feel so worthy of being loving, and you learn to fully accept those parts and you allow them to be expressed in your life, you will start living more fully your life in every area of it. And that is exactly what every one of us is looking too. And I want to give you a small story how I was able through my environment through the mirrors to see parts that I wasn't accepting for myself, and how when I became aware of this and I shifted it, also my life in this direction became more beautiful, more colorful. One of the traits that I have been taught to kind of like be ashamed when I was young was my emotions, because since I'm born, I had a hypersensitivity around emotion, and I could get very emotional, and I can start crying super easily, not only from sadness or frustration, especially frustration, but also when I feel joy, whatever. And I have been taught that I'm too much with these emotions, right? So the people who wasn't able to cope with this, for them that was too much. So I needed to learn to suppress this. So I saw this as a weakness, or I learned that this is a weakness. And I didn't want to allow myself to express my emotions. Even when I was sitting with my partner, and I was watching a movie and I had to cry, I kind of tried to cover it, right? But now I learned to accept this and to see that this is my unique gift, and this is a beauty, and this is, I accept it and I allow to be expressed. So now I learn to embrace my emotional nature more and more, and to not suppress my emotion when they came up. That doesn't mean that I need to shout out of anger or whatever, but it means that I allow myself to process and to feel this emotion. And even if somebody is there, I stop giving a if they feel uncomfortable because I suddenly kind of like burst in tears or whatever. So I just allow myself to feel it and not to suppress it. So that means I started choosing more of myself in my relationship, in being a partner, in interacting with my business partner, with my clients, in all the areas, and not suppressing it. Surprisingly, the more I allow this part, and also others parts that I didn't want to allow myself to come stronger through, I was expressing them more authentic was my energy, and the people felt even more connected. You need to understand that if your environment is mirroring you back, and kind of also trying to make you ashamed of some of your traits, you definitely need to think of leveling up your environment, where the people are more self-aware and self-acceptance about their own flaws, about their nature, and they also choose to allow more of themselves to get expressed in all the areas of their life. Because when you level up your environment in this direction, you also start accepting yourself more and more, because they will mirror this crystal clear to you. But also in the same time, those kind of people will be able to hold the space for you to express the doubts, to see the flaws, but they will mirror back the beauty of this part. This was exactly, what in my Power Woman community, where all these power women that were like building their businesses and their life from this stronger, higher, faster mentality. When I opened the space and I was holding the space for them, and suddenly, because all of them was suppressing a lot of parts of themselves or hiding it behind this power woman mask, now they allow to express it more and to show it, and the others, because they were on a similar journey, they were able to hold the space with no judging, but with compassion. And that is where the miracle happens, because when you surround yourself with an environment of women who have kind of like the same vision and direction, not the same in the terms of how, but I mean in the way how they want to live their lives, but also in the way how they want to experience themselves more, right? Or to allow more of themselves to really be express in every area of their life and to let go of this mask that they've been taught to carry through their life circumstances, it's just magic happens, right? So it's so important to really find an environment that not just mirror the painful, the unconscious part within you, but they are also able to hold it, to hold the space for you so you can see it gently and then you can transmute it, right? So more with compassion and not judging. And that's why I just love the power of the I'm Possible community, and that the space that I'm opening for women who are really ready to step into their like $1 billion mission. And this mission is the one that really comes from their heart, come from their soul, come from their blueprint, what they are meant to create here, but who are really willing to find a way to create and follow this big audacious mission with more of themselves, with more balanced masculine and feminine energy within themselves, that feel more in ease and enjoy, but also to be in an environment where they can be supported when challenges appear, when other unconscious beliefs come on the surface that can jeopardize their path. So that means the mirrors help them uncover this, in this case the environment as a mirror, uncover these beliefs, transmute it, but also help them to really see how beautiful these parts that have been seen as flaws are actually an amazing value and amazing things to be integrated back. And now we come to the third part of your environment. There is a lot of researches and also salespeople also use this very often. They know that when you connect with one person, that the level of their network or the average level of the people in their network will be most probably at the level they are. So it's less probable to say that someone who's working 9 to 5 and have average life, like going with the stream, going with the crowd, will have a high level individuals in their network that are way above in the way how they create their life, right? I mean, in the impact they're creating, in the value they're giving, in the maybe the businesses they're creating. It's not impossible, but it's less probable. Okay, and you need to understand that network, it's one of the most valuable currency you can have on earth. That's why there is the saying that your network is your net worth. In my first business, the network that I had around me wasn't so high. First, when I switched to my second business, working with amazing, working in the area of stem cells and epigenetic, what are like products that more high individuals are willing to invest money and to invest for themselves, because longevity very important for them is. And I also started traveling to Dubai and staying there for a half a year Dubai, half a year Europe. That is where the level of my network started growing, but not just like linear, but literally exponential. So I was able in the last 4 years to build a network across the globe, has a net worth multi-billions. Is it not that like the billions are in my bank account? But the access to the people that I have, because of course, point one, I get to know myself better as I was always constantly, allowing myself to put myself in an environment that triggers more and more, and I get to get to know myself better. Second, because I also started choosing more of myself to be expressed through my communication, through my interaction, through my business, through my relationship, through my energy, especially the energy, right? Because the energy is the first thing that enters the room before you actually physically enter the room. And if you're not aware of this, this is something, if you can take one thing also out of this episode that is not connected to the environment, and yet indirectly also, because the environment can either gives you energy or takes energy away from you. So it's actually also has to do a lot with your environment, right? But when you learn how to be in the right energetic status, that is where the people feel magically attracted towards you, kind of levitating towards you, right? I literally today ended up opening a folder on my phone where I had different feedbacks recorded from clients. And in 99% of the feedback, there was this word energy. There was like, Anna, I love your energy, your energy, your energy, your energy. And that is what made me aware. It's not just the intellectual value that you are bringing for your environment, but it's more important the level of the energy you are holding, the frequency of this energy field that you are, bringing in, that the people kind of willing to connect with. They want to bathe into this energetic field, right? Because they want to experience them themselves. They want to have also this vibrations, this energy level. That was just a small excursus going back. That means when you level up your environment, these people around you, they will have also a network that is also on a higher level. So that means they can open doors for you and opportunities for you that you wouldn't be able to open before connecting with these people. So this is extremely important to understand. You don't just level up your environment. The first 2 points are very most important for me, actually, to get to know yourself, but also to choose more of yourself. But the third one, especially if you're willing to build highly successful, let me say the $1 billion business, it's nothing, especially as a woman, that you want to build on a hard hustle. You want to build it through the right connection with the right cooperation partner, and some moment with the right investors or with the right big clients that most probably will come through your environment. So that means if you keep your environment way lower than where you want to go, it will be difficult for your environment to support you on this mission. It's not impossible again, but it's just difficult. If you put yourself in an environment with people who have similar audacious, impossible goals that they know they are impossible, they're possible for them, that is where first most of those people, when they're conscious, I need to put this in, when they're conscious, they'll be more than happy to connect you within their network, right? And they'll be more than happy to help you because they are just aware that when you help somebody, this energy comes back to you. Sometimes directly through you, sometimes through other sources, but they won't hold back. And I can tell you my experience on this level of like high individuals They don't have a problem to introduce you in their network when you have won their trust. They're actually even more easier to open a door for you than someone who is like in a 6-figure, 7-figure earning. Because sometimes on this level, people still operate on a scarcity base, on a competition base. When you go in the higher level, they have such a vast network, they don't have a problem to connect you without any expectations, right? And this is it's a completely different experience. I can tell you. It's you just feel that they operate in so much more abundance mentality, like I said, especially when you're working with a conscious founders, right? So this is kind of the area where I consciously decided to operate, to work with the high level conscious people. These are the 3 areas, or these are the 3 important points for you why you would love to reassess your current environment on a first step, right? So if I were you, I'll just write down what are the people around me, what are their qualities, what are their dreams and visions, and if you feel that you have a bigger dreams and visions and missions, I'll just ask myself, okay, how can I put myself in an environment where I can, get connected with people that have similar visions and mission like me. I like I said, I don't say it will be easier, especially if it's like in networking's event, and so I see how much people triggers each other's, right? So that is also the reason why reopening the space, the I'm Possible community for this big thinker, big dreamer women, because I want this process to be more soft, more gentle. So that means when you get triggered, you won't be thrown some kind of shit stuff towards you when you get triggers, and maybe you express these triggers, but instead you will be held in this safe and secure space that you can observe these things coming on the surface and then have the support to really transmute it. Because I have seen in 2 years in my previous community how more exponential growth is happening. The one lady that was just not even a month a part of the community, I think she was a month, where she said, Anna, in your room here, I'm experiencing literally quantum jumps. So if you're not aware about the term quantum jumps, it's kind of like, let me say, like you have operating from one identity, and suddenly you feel like you've grown up exponentially, right, in completely different identity, and you see how the things are shifting around you like so fast that you cannot even follow through how this happened. You're like, okay, what happened really? And this in positive terms, of course. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It became longer than I anticipated, but you can see that this topic is extremely important for me, because I have the feeling that we feel currently so disconnected. Even if we have the best technology to connect each others, people feel more and more kind of disconnected and alienated, or they say, I just have the feeling that I don't have the right environment around me, and I don't know how to find it, or I don't know how to connect with the right people. And when you just make yourself aware of your current environment, and then you decide what kind of environment you like to be, what kind of people you want to be surrounded around, then your subconscious mind will start looking for these people, for this opportunities. But you first need to become aware of, whether you have already outgrown your environment. You don't need to completely throw away your environment or the people out of your life. That is not what I say. But you can at least add few people to this environment that will help you level up. And just be aware, I'll give you one last analogy and we're done. Be aware that when you start knowing yourself better, and when you choose to allow more of yourself to be expressed in every area of your life, what automatically will happen is that you will start putting more stronger boundaries. And I'll talk about this in another episode. But the moment you start putting boundaries, right, because you start understanding what is more important to you and stop people pleasing, right? That was something I was talking to in the last episode. So if you want to learn a little more about people pleasing, I used to be one of those ladies. You can just go to episode 22. The moment you start changing yourself, you need to be aware that when you shift, the relationship to everyone in your environment has to shift. And it's nothing that you can control how they will shift. So imagine like the crib mobile, this kind of toy that parents put above the head of their babies. So they can kind of like maybe touch, maybe it's made of like of birds or airplanes, whatsoever. And when you touch the one, all the other pieces also move. So you can imagine the same in your environment. The moment you move yourself, all the other pieces start also to moving and to rearrange. So what might happen is that because you start choosing more of yourself, you start allowing more of yourself to be expressed and more authentic and to get to know each other, yourself. So that means you most probably let go of few traits that was connected to limiting beliefs. It can happen that people fall away from your environment. I just want to warn you, and that is not a bad thing, right? If you listen to my previous episode, you will also understand deeper why. Because those people just finish their work as being a mirror for you, for your growth. So when they drop out of your environment, you open more space for new people to enter. So a more clear, hopefully more clear, if you don't choose to go in another cycle of the same experience, especially in terms of intimate relationship. That's something that we very often repeat if we're not aware. So you will allow more clear mirrors to enter your space. So, and that's good. That's amazing, because then you get to know yourself better. You get to know even deeper parts that have been hidden in your unconscious mind, and you can choose to embody more of yourself. So it's actually, even if it's a painful process sometimes, it's actually extremely liberating, because all the relationships on earth are here to help you remember more of yourself and to choose more of yourself. That is the only or the main reason why we are in relationships. Because if you live alone on an island, isolated, you won't give a whether what you're wearing, how your nails are looking, how is your hair, whether you're chubby or you're thin, because you won't have any point of comparisons, right? If you don't have any point of comparisons, you won't know whether you're smarter or kind of not so intellectually gifted, so to say. You won't have any idea, because you don't have any reference point. And as we say, an eye cannot see itself. So in order to see your eye, you need to look at the mirror. So in order the eye to be able to see itself, you need the mirror called relationship. So see you in the next episode. I see you. I love you. Anna.